Hale says that his body is like a temporary body. Like that's what the timer's for. It's only supposed to last a few days. He's not in a body that's always going to work. Like, so his brain, it's not his brain that's failing, it's his body. Like, she purposely puts him in this body that is going to, like, terminate, in a sense.
Does she say that?
Over a few days. Yes.
I missed that. That changes a lot of things.
Yeah. But who knows? I mean, yeah, because that's why I think Scary Face Caleb, he's mostly deteriorating, not just like, scratching at himself or, it's not, I don't think it's the same as like James Delos type of thing that was going on with him.
That changes everything. And Westworld subreddit, yeah, you deserve to downvote me to oblivion because I was very adamant that Caleb was just another host. So... And that Hale never mentioned that she programmed him to deteriorate, but Mike is correcting me, so I deserve my -18 on the subreddit for.
Well, I mean, the way she says it, like, I didn't realize it till the second watch, and I'm like, wait, he only has a body that's like, he has a body that's going to fail. Like, I didn't take it that way. The way she says it, I forgot exactly the words that she uses, but. Anyway, let's go with that.
The reason I have a vague recollection of that now that we're talking about it, but the way I took it is when she tells Caleb that he's dead, he's already glitching. Like he's doing the head jerky thing. I thought like his time was limited because he's failing.
Right.
Not necessarily.
Because that's the way I kind of saw it too.
Okay.
Yep. That's how I saw it the first time I watched it.
Okay. He smashes the hourglass. He finds some little cylinder thing. He's dicking around with it. It pokes him and knocks him out. He, like, this wasn't an intentional, I'm going to jab myself with this thing. Like, he was just dicking around and knocked himself out. Because he's a fucking dummy. So what that does is it shuts him down, or at least puts him to sleep. I don't know what the difference is, but it does enough to trigger the drones to think that he's failed. And they're going to incinerate him, which I don't know why it would trigger the drones and not trigger Hale. Because you would think if you're...
Well, apparently we learned that Hale is letting this play out.
We do,
but I don't understand what the whole... I get, like, if he's knocked out, and this... What's the point of the drone even going in there? And it's so fucking confusing. Like, why this drone host, it has to look at its eyes and be like, okay, I guess we're going to new one now.
I guess it's because Caleb is so dense. He needs the threat of fire coming from above for him to look down.
I don't know. I'll go with it. Whatever. But
it's going to take...
I think the fire took way longer than it should to like reach the bottom, but whatever. I'll go with that too. Fine. That's not that big of a deal.
It's a slow burn.
Silly, but like... Yeah, whoa! Oh.
He follows a series of ashy handprints or ashy or bloody, depending on the scene, to the 3D printing lab. And this is the fun part where he comes face to face with a drone and he beats it to death.
Hold on a sec. Just rewind that 1 second, because that fucking host, all right, there's a scene at the beginning of this fucking episode that a fucking drone host knows that someone blinks behind its back. This fucking drone host doesn't know Caleb's running around behind his back.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck? What's it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Whatever. Maybe that one's not programmed the same way. I'll go with that.
Well, maybe the fly had to tell the drone to turn around.
The fly itself?
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. The fly. All right. Good point.
That's the problem.
I like it.
Yeah. But that's the problem with this show is it's up to the viewer to fucking try to make sense of it. As opposed to like, you don't have to spoon feed us everything, but fucking give us something that makes sense, as opposed to having like me having to do the mental capacity of your shoddy writing.
I think they do it on purpose. You know, we're trying to find the center of the maze of their show.
Yeah.
All right. It's just like Lost. All right. Lost was named Lost because the fucking audience is constantly lost, and they talk about it and have fun with it and create their own shit about the show. This one's a maze, and you never find the center. Let's get to this drone host part. Let's go fight.
Yeah, it's a great fight. It's one of the best fights I've seen. It also makes me wonder what the drones are constructed from, because he stabs the robot in the side and it bleeds out.
And it's basically like surprise, like, oh, haven't not used to this, not little prick in me. Oh, little stabby stab.
Which is enough to make it go down where he can then cave in its skull. So again, this is, and okay, Hale is letting this play out. Maybe she made the drone to be like this, but again, that is a big leap that the viewer has to make in order for that to make sense. Because the entire problem with like the hosts, like we know that the first generation hosts, we saw Dolores's body in season 3, where it's basically like just like a frame. And we know that since then, at the time they start the show Westworld, they've upgraded the hosts, and they have some human like or organic material, organs, things like that. But that's not because they need them to live. It's for the immersion for the guests. Like, that is why they don't like die. Like, they can be repaired. Because if you could just stab a host in the side and have it bleed out, why wouldn't the host fucking die when it gets shot 6 times in the chest? Because the organs aren't vital. So this thing with the drone is stupid, but fine. Caving in the skull, yes, that should work. But like the drone having pain receptors and like, oh fuck, I've been stabbed in the side. Et tu, Brute?
That's a problem. Yes,
that's a problem. So then
even before that, before even Caleb has a chance to stab him, he has a stupid little fucking hammer. What are you gonna do with that thing? You know how light a stainless steel hammer is that looks like that size? You're not gonna get any momentum with that.
There's so many things that should tip Caleb off that this is a trap. Like him being the 378th, seeing dead bodies everywhere and think, oh, Hale didn't look to see what happened to the dead bodies. She just like leaves them laying around. Yeah.
So that wedding band could just be there. Like they could replace it every time just so it seems like he's making progress.
Right.
You know?
But
it keeps like giving him a little bit of hope to keep going. I don't know.
Right. But
that's path he made.
That's why I think like he knows there's Caleb's ahead of him. Well, he doesn't know if they're ahead of him, but he must know that they're ahead of him because he keeps following handprints.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like, why didn't that handprint?
But he's Caleb dumb.
So he's working his way through the floors of this building like John McClane, which is nice because Aaron Paul is in talks. I saw this last week before the episode airs that he's in talks to be the lead in the next Die Hard movie, which is fun because we spend about 5 minutes watching him crawl through air ducts to get to the roof to make a phone call. So I think we already saw the movie, but maybe not.
Yeah. Hey, why don't you come to the park, have a few laughs, go through some simulations.
No fucking shit, Frankie. Do I sound like I'm ordering a pizza?
Now I have a Caleb.
Ho, Lors.
Now I have a Caleb magic carpet. Ho, ho, ho.
So, yes, Mike got us there. In the air duct, there's another dead Caleb, and there's a drop out of the air duct that he looks down. It's about a 16-foot drop. There's a few dead Caleb. Some died immediately.
Okay, I'm glad you fucking noticed that it wasn't that tall. I think that camera shot, they make it look like it's supposed to be super tall, but it's not. I even paused the damn thing because in this shot,
it's 16 to 20
thought
feet.
He was looking down and it's probably 15 feet.
Okay.
Probably pretty fucking close to 15 feet. All right. From the floor to that cable tray is about 12 feet. If you count the cinder blocks, which are about 8 inches high each, it's about 12 foot.
Or if you've ever been in a similar sized room, then you know about how tall those are.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Where the ducts are in in an industrial building.
It's possible they could be a lot higher, depending. But they made this shot look. I think this was a lazy part in the production. I think they did the shot purposely to make it look like it was really tall. Because I think that's why Caleb was freaked out. When I first watched it, I was like, oh, he's freaked out because he sees some more dead bodies down there. How the fuck did they even die? They could easily, like, just, if they hung off that unistrut that the duct is hanging on, dude, it's only like a 6-foot drop. So you'll be all right. Maybe 9 foot.
You'll be fine. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Caleb wakes up. He's like, oh, hey, wait. No jump. I was just resting my eyes.
It's like, no, it's not worth it. You have so much to live for the next 3 minutes. And then Caleb tells him that Frankie's alive. Every time Caleb tells another Caleb that Frankie's alive, it's news to them. So Caleb doesn't die on impact, which again, he's a robot, but okay. Oh, I forgot the other thing that pissed me off is when he's in the closet and he starts coughing up blood. And it's like, why is a robot coughing up blood? I guess the same reason a drone's bleeding out when it gets stabbed, but it's like, your fucking lungs aren't collapsed.
It'll look really cool if we put that on screen. What do you guys think? Yeah. It'll look neat.
That's the thing. The only reason hosts cough up blood is for the realism for the guest. Like, it's not because their lung is actually collapsed. It's like what the hosts are programmed to think that this is what death looks like for the entertainment of the hosts. Like, that's why they don't actually like have, I don't know how many pints of blood a human body has. But they don't have that much blood in them. Hosts don't bleed out, essentially. They just have enough blood for realism. So it's not like Caleb has an actual circulatory system. But okay. Okay. So he gets on the roof radio. He records a message to Frankie. He sends the message out, or at least he finishes recording the message. And then, surprise, surprise, there's Hale on the roof. It's a fucking trap. And it's not a surprise to the viewer, but apparently it is a surprise to Caleb. And one of the things that I got downvoted on Reddit this week, I need to stay off the Westworld subreddit because it's actually pissing me off, is they said that Caleb obviously knew it was a trap and he didn't care. He didn't. I watched that scene twice. He was fucking surprised. He's like, what? Hale pulled one over on me? So, no, you're fucking sorry. You can downvote me to -40, Reddit. Caleb didn't know shit. So Caleb was fucking dumb.
So yeah, he's a dum-dum. But let's even pretend that he's not. Like he's dying. His whole body's dying and he's glitching. Like he's not thinking straight. So even someone who's very intelligent in that body that's fucking decaying rapidly and in pain, that's going to be hard to even see the trap, maybe. When people are in distress, like, and worn down, shit, even me working, these past few days and being in the heat, a couple decisions I made, I was like, oh, wow.
I'm not disputing any of that. Everything about that is fine. The part that I'm disputing is Caleb being surprised
that he knew
that he didn't know, or that he was like he literally looked surprised. It's like, how the fuck? And
he absolutely did not know.
Yeah, and that's a problem. It's like, because it's like, oh shit, it was a trap, but it doesn't matter because blah blah blah. It's like, no, he could have been. I knew it was a trap the entire time. And it doesn't matter because blah, blah. They could have given Caleb a better moment here by having him be in on it, because it doesn't matter. Like, the only reason he leaves is to get to Frankie. So it doesn't matter if it's a trap or not. And if he acknowledged that, it would have been fine. Anything other than fucking surprise would have been fine, but it wasn't. because like the whole that's the other thing I don't get, because if Frankie's the only reason he rushed out and got as far as he did, like that was the quid pro quo factor that made him feel like he needed to get out. Why did all these other Calebs leave if there was no Frankie? Because when Hale's there saying, well, you're going to fucking die soon unless you tell me what I want to know, he tells her to go pound sand. Good luck with the next guy. So why did these other Calebs leave? Why didn't they just deteriorate?
Yeah. I don't know.
Ah.
Too many questions.
She gets pissed off, and the whole Caleb experiment's been for nothing, so she snaps Caleb's neck, killing him. Because, of course it does. He's a fucking robot, but apparently robots have human spines. If his neck is...
The way anybody dies makes zero sense.
Yeah. And
nobody dies anyway.
So Caleb 278 dies with a broken neck on the roof, the farthest any Caleb has ever gotten. There where he lies, let him be buried. If you enjoyed that clip, you might also like our full episode, link right here and in the description. The machines at Google think you might like that one, but are you going to let a machine tell you what you like? Or me, a fleshy bag of mostly water? That said, we do need to feed these algorithms before they eat us, so don't forget to like and subscribe before they come for you.